We're going to move to the next segment of discussion, which is going to provide some perspectives from civil society, business, and government leaders themselves. So let me turn to our next speaker, Dr. Anita Patil-Deshmukh. I'm pleased to invite you. You are the Executive Director of PUKAR to take our Zoom floor. Just for those of you who aren't familiar with what PUKAR is, it's based in Mumbai, India. And you please do correct me if I'm stating this incorrectly, but I believe that it aims to democratize research among disenfranchised youth and communities to then use that research as a tool to empower themselves to create knowledge that contribute towards making their communities more inclusive and more sustainable. You are also a member of the WBA Digital Inclusion Benchmark Executive Review Committee, and I'm just really excited to hear what you have to say this morning. So I guess to tee it off, Anita, can you discuss a little bit how PUKAR has encountered the issue of business accountability on the SDGs in its work, and what role you see for this business-civil society partnership today? Thank you so much. Just come off, if you can come off mute really quickly.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, sorry. So it's indeed an honor for me to be on this panel, and please, it's such a privilege for me to be able to share the stories of how internet companies actually can contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm going to tell you some stories which actually have come from PUKAR's project on digital divide that is supported by Azim Premji Philanthropic Initiative. So let me begin with the story of Noshi. Noshi is a tribal woman, a 30-plus-year-old who works in a small village located about 140 kilometers north of Mumbai, the financial capital of India. Being this close to the financial capital, you would expect that we will have a great internet coverage in the region, right? Far from the truth. Noshi wanted to put away in a safe place 500 rupees she had saved with great difficulty, hiding it away from her alcoholic husband. Since physical banking infrastructure is not widespread in tribal regions of India, a private bank created a mini bank that can do cash withdrawals and cash deposits through an assigned agent. It's a handheld little instrument. This particular software is connected to the main branch through the internet. Noshi approached the mini bank agent and gave her her precious 500 rupees to keep it in her account. The agent took the 500 rupees, but her passbook could not be updated at that point in time because internet was not available. After a few days, Noshi went back to the agent because she wanted to withdraw some money from what she had deposited. Guess what, guys? The agent said, "Sorry, you never gave me any money." He completely denied it. And since she did not have evidence in terms of a passbook update, she really lost her precious 500 rupees. Now, you would want to know why the internet was not available. Because the internet tower put up by the provider runs on electricity. Energy supply is neither constant nor predictable. To make the matters worse, the backup generator, which runs on one of the most polluting fuel in the world, the diesel, it runs only for 2 hours. So after 2 hours, the internet went out. This kind of stories of exploitation are extremely common in the rural sectors of India. The other problem also is inclusivity. Almost all these transactions that happen through banking systems are in English. Now, how do you expect tribal and marginal people in rural India to learn English? So this particular story tells us the failure on the providers to contribute fully to SDGs number 5, number 7, and number 10. Number 5 for gender equity, number 7 for providing clean energy, and number 10 for reducing inequality. Another small story. Ganesh is another tribal person who lives in a village which is approximately 8 kilometers from a small place where there is an ATM. One evening, Ganesh needed cash on an emergency basis. because he had to take his mother to the hospital. Ganesh literally ran 8 kilometers to get to the ATM, only to find out the ATM was not working because the server was down. The server had been down for 2 days and it had not been fixed. This clearly shows a total lack of accountability. Servers go down frequently and they are really not fixed, at least in the rural sectors in India, very easily. Of course, Ganesh had no other option but to get the needed cash from the moneylender from the village, who charged him 120% interest rate. Such incidences are extremely common in rural sectors in India, and this is all due to unavailability of internet services. Health calamities and related expenses often push people into poverty, which is well known worldwide. This relates closely to SDG number 1, which aims to eliminate the poverty across the globe. Almost all welfare schemes which are created by Government of India are actually available on the internet, but accessing the internet, availability of it, poor speed causes people not to be able to access these schemes. This again works into SDG number 1 and number 10. SDG number 1 is about getting rid of poverty across the globe, and 10 is about inequality. I would like to bring to your kind attention that equality has been mentioned in SDGs 4, 5, and 10, yet the digital divide remains very high everywhere. As per the latest UN data, which was released literally on July 11th, out of 100 people, 56 people do not have access to internet. Looking back, provision of internet for all should have been one of the SDGs, don't you think? In view of the current pandemic, not including this particular agenda in the SDGs seems like a huge gap. I would like to strongly suggest that internet provider companies take care of all these issues and contribute to the achievement of SDGs. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think rooting the stories that you're laying out provides a reality check. Sometimes we can all get caught up in saying leave no one behind, but really understanding what that really means, what the barriers are and what the needs are is so important to be able to drive and accelerate these conversations forward. Thank you so much, and thank you for the work that you're doing.